Barnstable police arrest a Mashpee man after a knife attack in Centerville over the weekend. The Cape Downwinders are calling on the governor for help, and volunteers are needed at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, March 11th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. The Sandy Neck concession stand will have a new food vendor this summer. Beach Park manager Nina Coleman announced that Patrick Bancourt of Sandwich will take over the operation this summer during last night's Sandy Neck board meeting.
I'm very positive about this gentleman. He runs the food service for the Plymouth Public Schools, like all the schools. He's the guy that's...
Oh, cool.
So he's
got a good background in food.
He's got a good background in food, and he's a very nice guy, and he's partnered with two other gentlemen from Sandwich, and they're excited to get going. So I have his resume too. So just hand out some. But they should be coming in any day now and getting going.
Also at the meeting, the committee discussed possible changes to piping plover management plans in the Bay State. The State Department of Natural Heritage wants to make it easier for towns to deal with piping plover nests. The committee will discuss the plan in full at its next meeting. Barnstable police arrest a Mashpee man Sunday night in Centerville. Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin talked with Police Chief Paul McDonald about that and other issues. We share a portion of that interview with you now.
So, Chief, I want to start. Maybe let's look back at the week. How was it in terms of police action for the past week?
It wasn't a bad week. I would consider it an average week. There are multiple calls for service, but nothing really out of the ordinary happened except for Sunday night. We did have a stabbing involving Mr. Joel Summers. He went to an address on Old Stage Road. He laid in the shades under cover of doctors, waiting for the homeowner to come back. When the homeowner showed up back, he attacked the homeowner. Unbeknown to Mr. Summers, his father was in the house. His father came out to assist his son, and they turned the tide of Mr. Summers, and they kind of laid a beating on him. Mr. Summers took out a knife and he slashed at both individuals and cutting them superficial wounds. But that was the biggest event for the weekend. But it's a little bit different because back in 2005, Joel Summers and his father, they were victims of a home invasion when someone broke into their house to rob them, and they turned the tide also on them with a baseball bat, and they bludgeoned an individual to death. So it's a role reversal this time.
Indeed. Was there any understanding as to why this violence occurred? Was it drug-related, or
it's absolutely drug-related. Mr. Summers is going to allege that he was just out for a walk in the middle of the night. He'd have to walk by, somebody asked him for a light, and they all of a sudden turned on him and beat him up. That's not what happened. His car was found on Thoreau Drive, parked a short distance away. Mr. Joe Summers is a known drug dealer. He does live in Mashpee right now, but this was retaliation for something.
Indeed. So, Chief, I want to move on and talk a little bit about sheltering. I know this is something that we've been talking about, and many organizations are kind of talking about looking at ways in which to change, how sheltering. Of course, we don't have a day shelter right now. It's just the NOAA shelter is just a nighttime shelter, so that people who utilize that shelter are known to kind of walk around and wander around the downtown Hyannis area during the day.
Correct. Over the years, the way they managed the homeless problem in town of Barnstable certainly has improved. I mean, they've done a great job. NOAA, all the social service agencies. This particular summer, they hope to step it up a notch or two, and what they want to do is provide that sheltering 24 hours a day, not just close the shelter at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then everybody has to go and do whatever they have to do. If they have no place to go, they can hang out on Main Street. They're going to try to keep the shelter open and then provide whatever services the individual needs there at the shelter. So that's a huge step forward. And as far as the police responsibility, this is we are going to try to put out a specialized patrol back for the summertime. Over the years, in the past 8 years since I've been chief, there's always been somewhat of a demand to bring back a walking patrol back on Main Street, and we're going to try to do that this year. We're going to try to set aside a small group of individuals, full-time regular officers on a full-time basis, assign them to downtown Main Street Hyannis and to deal specifically with the quality of life issues down there. So there'll be a permanent uniform presence down there. They'll either be on foot patrol or they'll be on bicycle patrol, but they will not be allowed to leave the Main Street area. Similar to what the street crime unit does at nighttime, the street crime unit has been amazingly successful. We're looking for this specific unit to do the exact same thing, but during daytime hours.
Right. And you know, Chief, I'm thinking about summertime on Main Street, and I do normally see bicycle police officers in the area. What's going to be different about this new patrol?
They have never been there on a full-time basis. They've been there according to staffing needs. You know, if we had the staffing level, we would put them out there. You know, if we had some overtime left over, we'd put them out there in overtime. These officers, and it's not going to change. This is going to be the same group of officers who's going to get to know everybody. They're going to know the homeless individuals on a first-name basis. They will know all of the merchants up and down Main Street. They will have a personal relationship with the BID and the Hyannis Chamber of Commerce. You know, they will know everybody in Town Hall and school administration buildings, so they will have intimate knowledge of all the concerns of what's going on in downtown Hyannis. And these are not going to be summer officers. These are going to be full-time, regular officers who have some type of experience and specialized training in dealing with these type of individuals. You know, we're not looking to arrest anybody. We're not looking to make their life miserable. But if somebody's out there and they have an alcohol problem, or a narcotics problem, or mental health issues, they're going to be able to refer those individuals to the appropriate agency. You know, this is something the town manager wants, and we're going to put this together.
Chief, when are those patrols going to begin?
Hopefully either May 1st, if not May 1st, no later than June 1st. You know, we're the problem we have right now. We have 5 officers who just got out of the academy. They're in the field training program, so we have to cut them loose. Once we cut them loose, that will give us the extra manpower to do this.
Great. And will they go? Will they remain on patrol all the way through the Labor Day weekend, or will it be longer than that?
Right now, the plan is in place. They will go until at least September 30th, and then we'll see how busy it is, and you know, make sure there's a workload that can bring them through the winter. You know, if there's a workload for them, then absolutely. When the street crime unit started, that was only going to be a part-time basis. You know, now it's a full-time unit dedicated in our organizational chart, and it's a permanent unit. So we will see where this new unit goes.
A group of activists concerned about the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Station in Plymouth want Governor Deval Patrick to urge the Nuclear Regulatory Commission to shut down the plant. State Senator Dan Wolf says the Cape Downwinders traveled to the governor's office Monday to make that request.
Administration leadership in Boston has indicated that it's uncomfortable, I guess that's the best way to put it, with the nuclear power plant. You know, that's kind of a nice way of saying let's get rid of it. And I think what the Downwinders are legitimately looking for is a little bit more of a commitment out of the state to really exercise whatever power it can to try to have that plant shut down and remove the risk from our backyard.
Following that meeting, the governor did agree to reach out to the commission and express his concerns about the aging nuclear plant. Well, Barnstable is looking for a few extra hands. The Recreation Division is looking for volunteers to help sell beach parking permits from May through mid-August at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. If you're interested in helping out, you can contact Trish Otto at the Youth and Community Center. Now let's get a look at sports with Brenna McCubry.
Good afternoon, Barnstable. I'm Brenna McCubry, here to bring you the latest on New England and Red Raiders sports. Tonight, the Boston Celtics are in Indiana to take on the Pacers. Tip-off for the C's is at 7. The Boston Bruins will play tomorrow night in Montreal to face the Canadiens at 7:30. The Boston Red Sox are currently in spring training and played today versus the Miami Marlins. Their next game will be Saturday to take on the Philadelphia Phillies at 7:05 p.m. Former Boston Bruin Rich Peverly collapsed last night on the bench due to a heart condition. Doctors at the game were successfully able to treat him for a cardiac event. As of last night, the now Dallas Stars player remains hospitalized. In Barnstable High School sports, spring tryouts begin Monday, March 17th. The sports available include baseball, softball, boys volleyball, girls golf, boys and girls tennis, lacrosse, and co-ed sailing. Good luck to all those students trying out. And that concludes what's happening here in sports. Here on Barnstable Today, I'm Brenna McCubry.
For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannell.